But it's okay. I still love you though.
You
It's all
better.
good.
You better recognize.
That is literally the worst African accent I've ever heard in my entire life.
That is a Yeibi African accent style, okay? If I was African, that's what I would talk like.
Oh my God, we need to work on this.
You better recognize.
I want to hear your best. Is that your king? In your African accent.
Is that your king? No. Is that no? Is that your king? By the way, how do you say? You say? Because I'm for some reason I feel like it's coming out British.
It's
It's not even British.
It's not really
I don't know what
British.
that's coming out. It's coming out crap. And I play.
Is that your king?
Oh damn! You put that stink face in when you said that. You put that mean African face. You put the what do you call it? The Nollywood face on. That's what you put. The Nigerian stank Nollywood face on. Is that your king?
Get ready for some banter, laughs, and honesty. Raw and unfiltered.
It's time for the Listen Up podcast hosted by Lady Sola.
Listen up, listen up, listen up. What is up, everyone out there? All of my supporters, all my listeners, all my millennials. Just want to say welcome to another episode of the Listen Up podcast. So, what are we going to toast to?
We're going to toast to all those struggling couples out there that about to listen to this podcast and is about to do some good in their life.
I will drink to that.
All right.
Valentine's Day edition. Love is late night bliss.
That's the topic we're going with.
I'm just going with the flow. Yeah, this is how I used to talk when when you want to have a little phone sex. You know what I mean? When we were like back in high school. You don't know what I'm talking about? Okay, we just gonna move right along because I'm clearly telling too much right now. But yeah, so this is gonna be a very special episode. Okay, I didn't even introduce my co-host yet. Oh my gosh, I'm just like kikiing and lollygagging with your ass, and I haven't even introduced you. So some of you guys may remember his voice from the very first episode of the new season of the relaunch.
You better recognize my voice.
If you don't shut your ass up.
I felt like that was a good moment to say you better recognize him.
So you may have remembered him from the first episode of my comeback when I was bringing the podcast. Yes, bringing the podcast back. The revival.
But you ain't Jesus. I use you.
Yes, but we praise him in this house all day, every day.
Amen.
But yeah, so my co-host is once again Mr. Yeibi Colon. Boo, aka Bay, aka Big Head.
Let me not say what I was gonna say, but keep going.
But so thank you. Welcome back. It's been so long since I've seen you. I mean, I feel like it's been ages. How are you?
I'm doing really good.
Okay.
I'm doing really good.
That is just fantastic.
It's good that we're reuniting again to do this special. This is a special podcast. It's a holiday podcast.
Holiday podcast?
Not for holiday.
Merry Christmas?
No, my nigga, no nigga.
Happy New Year?
Valentine's Day.
Feliz Navidad? See, what he means is that it's Valentine's Day. It's a very special day.
Isn't that a holiday, Valentine's Day?
I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it goes with Valentine's.
It's a day everyone celebrates. I'm thinking it's a holiday.
Well, let's get it straight. Not everyone celebrates Valentine's
Well, true.
Day. Some people can't stand this day. All right, they say just go to hell. That's
for real.
Some people say that.
Really?
that it's overrated, that
Really,
you
this
know,
is
if they
good.
don't
I like where this is going already.
yeah, you know.
Stick around for what we about to say. But yeah, I like how this is going.
If you don't have a significant other
Right.
in your life, if you've been done so wrong in your past relationships, if you felt broken after your past relationships, you may not be too fond of Valentine's Day. And that's just true tea, you know. So some people feel like it's an extra holiday that doesn't need to exist because it's like another reason to have to give presents or whatever. And it's like, oh my gosh, like it was Christmas, the birthday, this and that, and the sweetest day, which is I guess a Midwestern thing.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chicago. But
Right.
yeah, there's so many things. So it's like, oh, Valentine's Day is just another, you know, a way that society, you know, exploits on the economy and our pockets, and you know, it's a very consumeristic.
Right.
You know, from a consumerism standpoint, there's an angle to it.
Got you.
But you know, for us hopeless romantics, as I like to call it.
What does that really mean, though? I've never gotten that term. Like, I get the word hopeless, and then I get romantic. But what does it really mean, hopeless romantic?
I guess I would say hopeless romantic is someone that's
desperate for love?
No, absolutely not. It's the total opposite.
Okay.
It's someone that yearns for love, that believes in love,
right?
No matter what happens in their life, no matter what heartbreak they've gone through, who has wronged them, relationships that didn't work out, they really believe in true love. They really believe in, you know, that love at first sight.
So what do you call that? So what do you call that? Having hope?
Well,
you see what I mean? So it's like having. It's like
hopeless is like.
Hopeless is not having hope. So hope.
It's like a.
Am I taking it too literal?
It's like an oxymoron.
Okay, gotcha.
Because it's like
oxymoron.
Being, you know, finding love, finding romance can almost be seen as hopeless sometimes. Because it's like, is this ever gonna happen for me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, am I ever gonna find love? Is this love thing really like legit? You know what I'm saying? Like, because the bullshit that I've gone through and the games and the lies and the cheating, infidelity, you know, what have you. It's like, I'm hopeless, but I'm still a romantic. So you have to bring the two together.
Okay, I get what you mean. Hopeless, I get all
it's
of that.
It's like, the idea of fantasizing that you will find love.
Romantic.
Hopeless romantic. It's like someone that just has been through the heartache, has been through all the struggle in it.
Right.
And it has caused hopelessness within them, but they get up again. They get knocked down. Love bites them in the ass, but you know what I'm saying? They put a little gauze, put a little bandage on that bite, and they, you know, keep it moving because they want to find love again. They still believe it's out there.
Right, of course.
So yeah.
I mean, love is always out there. You
Absolutely.
know, that's the
I
thing.
agree.
So love. Only thing is, some people have decided, you know, that they don't longer believe in love, you know. But that's the thing, when people who think like that don't understand what love is, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna break it down and try to educate on what love is. So I'm gonna let you get started with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, this is gonna be a different setup than what my usual podcast is. I usually have 3 segments: the big 3, couch conversation, and like really. But this is another special episode, just like the last episode with Surviving R. Kelly. So this one, I have different segments as well, but they're unique to the show. So courtship, we're going to talk about courtship, you know, and kind of go into a little bit of background on our story or whatnot and how we met and how this journey has been, how this has all come about. We're going to touch on a little bit, you know, a little bit of our story. So we'll talk about that. We'll go into like singleness and just kind of what needs to happen when you are single while preparing for that relationship that you've been desiring, the love of your life, your future husband, bae, whatever you want to call it, wifey. How should you go about your single life, you know, leading up to what comes next, which is a relationship and hopefully marriage. Right. Then we're going to go into the definition of love.
Which should be the end goal.
Yes,
Sorry to interrupt.
It should be. we're gonna after that go into a definition of love, really get into the meat. This is the meat right here of the meal. So we're gonna spend a little bit of time on that, just talking about what love is, core essentials, the languages of love, the levels to love, and some other things about love, and why we believe in it.
Right.
And then last but not least, definitely going to talk about communication. To me, this is the cornerstone of any relationship.
Right.
Communication first and foremost.
Absolutely.
Above anything else, no matter what. So we're going to talk about a lot of things in communication as well. Listening to understand versus listening to hear. The tone and the volume that you decide to use when you are conversing with your significant other, and how to keep those levels in check. It's easier said than done, trust me. And a bunch of other things. So let's get into it.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's get into it.
So.
Oh, this one is good, by the way.
Thank you. One of my favorites.
What's it called? Mi amore.
Mi
amore. Italiaci.
Ah.
Mi amore. Right? Mi amor, French or something?
Yeah, no, it's not.
It says my love, mi amore, you see? Talking about love, we got a wine.
That's why.
About love, you know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? That's why I had to get this wine, just
right.
Perfect. It was perfect for the theme.
Right.
But I do want us to dib and dabble a little bit in us, and use ourselves as a storyline, use ourselves as an example. Fun. Since this podcast is about Valentine's Day, about love, about, finding love and building relationship and all the things that come with that, I did think it would be kind of nice to, talk about us a little bit.
Absolutely,
so,
I agree.
If you want to kind of break down the timeline, it's always interesting to hear this.
We met at work, and, I seen you for the first time, and I kind of I didn't really get your attention well, I noticed. So
I didn't even notice you until the time where you actually spoke to me.
Right, exactly. So point is, you look back at me that first time we spoke, and you just looked at me like if I was any other employee, but you didn't really notice me. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to get this girl's attention real quick. So that's when the next day at work, I see her doing something and she needs help. Me being a gentleman, I come up to her and I offer her for help. But I also knew what I was doing, But once I say hi to her, she finally looks at me, looks back down, and then looks again. She had a double look, and she's like, hold on, who's this?
I was like, wait a minute. Ladies, y'all know how, when somebody tries to talk to you and, either you see them from a distance or you're looking at your phone or something, so you just take a glance and you look away, you look back down, and then it takes a few seconds for your brain to catch up to what it's processing.
Right.
So you're like, wait a minute, you look fine. He's fine. Hold on. And you have to look up again.
Yes,
you have to get that double take to make sure you're not tweaking.
Hold on, who is?
To make sure that, you know what I'm saying, you saw something that your eyes liked. So that's what that's what was happening with me. I was like, I looked up I was kind of trailing off, because I'm still deciding, do I even want to speak to this person? Who is this? You know what I mean? My mind in my own business.
Right.
And it's
in your own
he's you need help with that. And then I look down or whatever.
I broke that bubble.
And I was like, whoa, I got to look back. I don't even know what that means.
I broke your little.
Oh,
I broke the ice. I broke the ice.
There you go.
I guess I broke that bubble. I wanted to say something different. But yes, I broke the ice and
trying
to really say hi to you,
Right. Yes. So that was the first time we spoke, and then we started texting after that, went out, and then you invited me to the movies. It was supposed to be a group.
Well, we had gone out beforehand. Me, you, and another friend from work.
We had.
Right, but that was all my way of, getting you used to me, getting you used and putting you in that mindset. Oh, okay, hold up, wait, I didn't want to make you feel pressure, if it was dates or anything like that, I wanted to make you feel close, like part of a group, part of a friendship. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and also just to kind of get an idea of where my head was at.
Right, exactly.
So you're not putting yourself all the way out there.
Yeah.
Asking me on a date, and you don't know what my deal is, if I'm even interested.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's so many variables. So I think that was a good.
I mean, if anything, I'll be honest. If anything, before that, you asked me out on a date, girl. When I asked you to go out, one of my friends beforehand, remember that first time we spoke, that we were texting. I'm like, hey, yo, come out. I'm with some friends. You're like, oh no, I want to go out one-on-one.
Yeah, for sure. I casually suggested.
You know, she casually suggested.
I mean, it's just an idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, anyways, point is.
We went out to the movies.
We went out to the movies.
Like
it was
4
still
people or something.
Yeah, and it ended up.
Coincidentally enough. So what happened next, baby?
It ended up being just the two of us, chilling like villains. You know what I'm saying? we just ended up being by ourselves, and we watched the movie.
Right. What movie did we see again? Is that really?
Well, no. What movie? Not what movie. Excuse me, guys. Not what movie did we see? What movie did I see? Nigga, you slept the whole damn movie.
That was one of those like Marvel action movies or something.
Nigga, it was Marvel's Avengers Infinity War.
Oh yeah. I guess that was a big deal, huh?
Yeah.
I'm just not really into those movies.
That was the most anticipated movie of the year.
It anticipated my sleep. That's what it did. My sleep was heavily anticipated that night because I was knocked out. And the movie theater that I go to, they have the extra comfy chairs that lean all the way back, so it's like kind of like a bed. Almost.
Yeah, I looked at this girl and I felt so bad, yo. I looked at this girl and I'm like, damn, this girl knocked out, man. Well, she come out anyway.
I was fighting to stay away. You have no idea.
What made you want to come out though? Like, nigga, you should have just been like.
No, I don't think you told me like what movie we were watching.
I did tell you. Remember we were speaking about at work, and I said, yo, we about to watch.
I guess I was just like, it's gonna be a group of people, right. You know what I mean. But then that night, this is really an important part of the timeline or whatnot, and this is when we're going back, leaving the movie theater and all that, you were parked like nearby a hotel parking lot,
right?
And and we were talking for hours. We were talking for a long time once we got to the parking lot and stuff. And then all of a sudden, my car wouldn't start.
No, it was on. All of a sudden, it started doing some crazy stuff.
That's right. It was on the whole time.
I'm like, oh, what is going on?
And it was showing me all these crazy codes and all of that, like on the dashboard and stuff, like some sort of technical error or something. It was like I've never, ever seen anything like this before. Like never has anything remotely close to this has ever happened. So looking back on it, because of that, I had to call my roadside assistance. They had to bring a tow truck, so we had to wait at least another hour for the tow truck to get there, so that it can get towed and like I figure out what happened, how I get home, So it's crazy like that happened because it did allow us to talk some more.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of our conversation, at this point, I'm thinking we're just friends. Like, it's been totally, like, respectful, like, nothing out of the ordinary.
Chill conversation, just
chill, laid back, no flirting. It's, good energy, but, like, he didn't try to touch my thigh or put his arm around me at the theater. You know what I mean? Like, it was just, we were just sitting next to each other watching the movie, like, two friends, so I'm just thinking, like maybe he's just a nice guy, like how some guys are just like those guys that get along with everybody, they're friends with everybody, they're always like hosting something or putting a get together or partying or going out, having fun, like the fun guy, so I'm thinking, maybe he's just like, he sees I'm someone new, he wants to welcome me and stuff and make me feel comfortable, so I'm thinking, maybe like he's just cool with a lot of people and he got a vibe from me that I'm cool, so It's like, oh, hey, let me say what's up to her. So I was thinking maybe it was something more like that, you know, especially with the movie night just being really regular and nothing really eventful happening while we watch the movie. At this point, I'm like, okay, so this is just a friend thing, you know. I thought he was really attractive. I definitely liked his vibe. But I'm not the type to push something when I don't have any evidence to stand on. Like, I'm not going to testify when, you know, on the court stand if I don't have proof or if that didn't happen. You know what I mean? Like, it needs to be showing. It needs to be evident, like, that somebody's feeling me. I'm not really going to put myself all the way out there like that. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess, you know, it's just like, cool, just chilling. That's cool. I was like, okay, you know, that's cool either way. But then, what did you do when we're gonna go separate ways? I was about to leave at this point or whatever.
So yeah, this is the way I felt. I'm like, all right, yo, I gotta step it up. I'm like, I've been killing. I've been wasting too much time. I gotta let her know what's good. And when we're leaving, you know, I step out of her car. Saying goodbye, I was like, yo, if I don't tell her now, I'm like, I'm gonna lose, like, I don't think this is perfect to tell her. You know, that's what I was thinking about. You know what I'm saying? We had a good conversation. You know, we were vibing. So I'm like, let me take advantage of the moment and tell her how I feel. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why I was like, yo, listen, you know, I don't want to make it awkward, something like that I said, but I'm like, you know, just to be real with you, I like you. I find you very attractive, you know, and I don't know what the heck I said after that. But the point is, I just told her, you know, but I was like really like, I wasn't trying to sound desperate or nothing like that. I was just letting you know what's good, you know. I was like, yeah, like, I think you're attractive. I think you're pretty, you know, and if you want to keep this going, we can. That was more of the approach I was taking to it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and then from there, then all this broke out. Everything else.
Right.
This whole journey.
Yeah, no, it really did kind of catapult. That was really the beginning of our relationship, of our connection.
Right.
You know, it really built from that night. You know, my car just basically acting brand new on me. Us already having a nice, natural, ongoing conversation after going on the movies one-on-one.
Right.
It was supposed to be a group date. So, you know, you start to see how things play out little by little. You're like, this seems like a setup. You know, I don't know if this is a bad setup or a good setup, but it's a setup nonetheless. And it was. And what did you find attractive in me, like, from early on, from, you know, when you first saw me moving on? Like, what, like, you know, because I'm sure you meet a lot of women or whatnot in different circles,
right?
Mutual friends, whatever. So what about me did you find attractive?
It was definitely, like, at first, you know, that first time I glazed over you, you know, I looked at you and it was like, yo, she's pretty. Like, it wasn't when we had that first conversation, you know, like your energy, the way you spoke, you know, I don't know, just your persona, you know, and like your character, and that was what really attracted me to you. And, like, you know, apart from your exterior beauty, you know, that was.
I love when he tried to be politically correct.
I'm saying, like, you know,
on a podcast platform.
Nah, I'm just saying, like, you know, I really like your voice. Like, I thought it was, yeah, I think you have a pretty. So I'm like, yo, she is cute. Her voice is pretty. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to be a shark.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
a shark.
You definitely you went in for the kill. You didn't waste no time.
So yeah, you know, and I am attracted. I am attracted to, you know, a woman of color. I'm attracted to black girls. You know, half of my family is black. You know, when I mean black, I mean like skin tone. You know, we Puerto Ricans, we mix out of everything. You know,
right?
We recognize. You know,
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, you know, and I was attracted, you know, and
you.
like, I mean, I don't, not like if there's only, point is, I don't discriminate, but for some reason I really had this thing for like women of color, and I don't know, when I saw you, I'm like, yo, this girl is on, yo, you were like, you look different. You look different.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, I stood out to you.
We ain't trying to be cheesy here, but you know.
Well, it's a little too late for that, buddy. Now, isn't it? No, but that's sweet. I've heard him say this so many times.
She loves it.
I mean, no, I just.
It's good. It's okay. It's okay.
I love your honesty, and I love, like that you're able to really describe how you were feeling and what you were thinking at that time.
Right, yeah.
And I definitely, obviously I was very physically attracted to you. I think, you're very handsome or whatnot. Don't let it get to your head.
Thank you for gassing me up. Thank you.
But I liked your spirit, and I felt like, without even knowing much about you, I just felt this maturity and this raw intelligence that came from inside of you, just from speaking with you just for a few minutes, very brief or whatnot, but I was able to get a lot out of that interaction. You just had a positive spirit about you, know. So whenever I find that in other people, I think of myself, and we always like to meet people that are similar to ourselves or that have certain qualities that you have, that makes you great. You would love to find that in other people. It doesn't always happen, but when you do,
right,
you have that strong connection, and you don't ever want to lose it.
Absolutely.
It's hard to find that.
I agree. And it's But thank you for the compliment.
Yeah. So we met back in May.
May 2017. No, 2018.
Yeah, 2018.
For some reason, I'm thinking we're still 2018. But yes, May 2018.
Yeah, we met back then.
We
started
May
talking
4th.
And everything. We spoke the first time we actually spoke.
May 4th.
Was May 4th. You remember that because I don't know if I can. But, and then we started dating after that and made it official, on October 7th, a few days before my birthday. So
yeah, that
was a very, exciting time.
It was. It really
very
was.
special, And so that's basically our courtship in a nutshell, without talking y'all ears to death. You know what I mean? But we're gonna, talk about like where we were at. Yeah, we're gonna talk about where we were at before we got together.
Right.
Because obviously before we got together, we were single. Like we
right.
were both, out here trying to find something meaningful that can last, that can be the real deal. Like many of us are out here trying to find. So let's talk about that. When we're single, like, some things that I'm gonna be quoting Tony Gaskins a lot. He's an inspirational speaker. Look him up on Instagram, YouTube. But he did a Breakfast Club interview recently, and he just said so many gems.
Yeah.
So with singleness, he says you must have peace in singleness before you can find peace in love.
Yes, that's very true.
It's important to fall in love with you first.
Right.
To love yourself first.
Absolutely.
And it's so true. It's so true. Before you can even think about dating or getting with anyone else, you really have to be in tune with who you are, why you are.
Right.
What is your purpose? What do you like about yourself? What do you know about yourself that you have that nobody else got?
Mm-hmm.
It's only one you. What
right.
about you? And being confident in that and embracing that and feeling like you the shit. You know what I mean? Because we're all the shit in our own way.
Right.
So what are some things that you did while you were single? Physically, mentally, spiritually, like what mental state were you in? What did you find yourself doing, or how were you approaching dating? Like what were some of those things that you did while being single?
Yeah, it's funny because right before I met you, a few months before I met you, like, I just started like dating. Like I was literally, like we met in May, and I think around November, sometime around November, late October, early November, like I started like, I'm like, you know what, let me just try dating out. Let me actually start not dating or where I'm getting to know someone, like be with them like for a few months, but dating in the aspect where I was just going on like different dates, like if it didn't work out, I don't know. I guess at least my experience was that the first day I went, after using whatever thing there is out there, all these apps that are out there these days, after using these services, I never, it was they were nice women, nice girls, but like nothing ever really went off. It was like one date and that was it. It was like we kept walking, we kept moving on.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It really is crazy because like it was like I think I spoke to probably, to be honest, probably around 5 girls right before I met you.
Okay.
And like, it was literally just like spoke, like, and nothing from there on moved forward, and they were nice people. They were,
right.
They were, attractive and everything, but I don't know, it really didn't. So and the reason I started doing that was because I'm like, you know what? I'm like, let me just try going out there and just I had hope every time that I was gonna be like, find someone. I felt it, but I was always prepared for the worst. So I just kind of went out there, expose myself and see what's up. Who am I vibing with? You know what I'm saying? And try to be who I can be with, that I can be my complete self, Right. And I was looking for that. So I guess I was preparing myself mentally, and something that really helped me was not worrying about rejection. That really helped me out. So I didn't have to worry about, I'm like, okay, I'm like, whoever, like, not worry about rejection. It's okay. It's fine. I'm not scared of it, and honestly, I was looking forward to get rejected, because once I was rejected, I'm like, okay, that's my green light, move on. Like it wasn't like from there, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. Now it was more like, okay, whatever, next.
Right.
So yeah, and I guess I just prepare myself to use failure after failure after failure, just keep going on. So I hit it, and next thing you know, we did hit it, and that's where a few months later you come into the picture.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I would say what I was doing while I was single. I've been single for about 5 years, before we got together or whatnot. So it's been a minute. It's been a long time. Like I've had a lot of time to just be by myself. You know what I mean? And to like just do me, basically, not really have to worry about living with someone else or for someone else or thinking of someone else, like, so I mean, it's been a journey. It has been a journey for sure. But I would say that I always, like you said, I always stayed optimistic. I always believed that, there is someone out there for me that
right.
is, amazing. You know what I mean? Like, that will be just for me.
Right.
Like, so I always kept that hope alive, But I would always pray, ask God for what I want in a man, like being able to put certain characteristics that were so important to me.
Right.
And finding that person. A big thing that I changed was I used to be so specific, like, well, what I would ask for. Like,
right.
I want him to be at least 6 foot or taller. I want him to be light skinned. I want him to have a 6-pack. I want him to have a nice smile. Like nice breath. Like, it was like the list went on and on. Like, like, oh, I want him to be stylish and this and that. He can't have any kids. So like, and we're gonna get into standards versus preferences. Because this is important when you're single. Like, when I was younger, I had so many preferences, and it was like I literally paid attention to those preferences more than anything else. Like, these are all the like added, bonuses, right? But I was making it like this was the end all be all. Like, all these extra things that are just what it is, extra, I was making it like it was the essence.
Right.
Of what I needed and what I would accept.
Right.
So when
you were putting a face on it.
Yeah, I was putting a face on it for sure. So when I started to continue to pray and get older, you date people, you go on dates, you exchange numbers, you kind of text back and forth for a while, and you think maybe something will come of it, and it doesn't. It doesn't, and it's like, here we go again, you waste your time or whatever.
Right.
So I started to change my thinking, my approach when I would pray, and start asking for essential things, like things that are absolute deal breakers. Like, he must be a Christian. That was my number one thing. Must be a man of God. First and foremost. Like, I can't take anything different. I can't take anything less than that. Right. So I felt like that was the epitome of what I needed. Someone that will love me, like, will really love me for me, who will adore me, who will see my value, will understand my value without me having to say a word. I was definitely looking for that as well. Someone that values the importance of loyalty and trust. Someone that's gonna respect me. And when I say respect, I don't just mean, oh, you never put your hands on me. Thank you so much, you respect me. Or, you hug me when you see me, you hold the door open for me. Like, that's nice, that's cute. But I'm talking about, like, respect in all aspects, Like, so, and I wanted, and another thing was, now changing from the height, and he used to look like this and wear these type of clothes and this, that. I changed that to, I just want to be attracted to him. So I stopped putting a face to the, or name to the face or whatnot. Right. Like, so it was like, I want to be attracted to him, whatever that is. Like, Lord, you know me. You know me better than I know myself. You know what I'm into. You know what I'm going to like. You know what's going to make me feel good, what's going to be, that's going to be an attraction. So I just phrased it that way instead of saying, oh, I'm going to give off a whole laundry list of things that I'm attracted to. Right. You see what I'm saying? So instead of doing that, you just kind of, you make it like an open, broad, blanket statement. Like, I want to find someone I'm attracted to, so that you allow the Lord to come in to do his work. Right. And you're not resisting. You're not playing this resistance game of like, okay, if the Lord tries to bring me something, I'm going to just turn my head this way because I'm not even going to go for that. So why should the Lord waste his time? Yeah. When he knows mentally you're not ready for what he's trying to give you. Because you're like, but he's not 6 foot. Nah, that ain't him. All right. And the Lord could be like, oh, come on. You know what I mean? Like, are you freaking kidding me? I wasted all this time finding this man for you, and he's perfect for you, and you talking about it, that ain't it? Nah, you gonna be single for a couple more years. You ain't ready. You ain't ready. Yeah. So
right, no, and we were both on that same spot, and I think that was the most important thing. Like me, I never put a face on it. Like, I used the law of attraction. I attracted, mentally, spiritually, what I wanted, and the attributes of a person, And I'm like, I would like this in a girl and this. I'm like, no, but forget that. I can't, because if I put a face on it, all of that exterior, I'm going to fall for that. You know, it's the cup outside might look clean, but inside it's dirty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what I don't even want to go. I don't even want to start preaching right now. But you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like there's a lot of people. They look like they're living a lavish life, but they broke. They struggling. To put it.
Yeah.
The point is, it's not always what it seems when you look at a person. Just because they're beautiful, they must be no. If anything, it doesn't matter how beautiful you are. If you have a certain attitude or something like that, if you're not understanding, you're disrespectful, this and that. That's like that doesn't.
Right.
It takes all of your exterior beauty and makes it just as ugly.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I was just like, I really, like, I'm telling you, like, I really focused on the law of attraction. I'm like, you know what? Not putting a face on it. I just want someone who will understand me, who is compassionate, who understands love, who understands it. A lot of people talk about love like they know love, but they don't know love. They, understand what love is. So, and that's,
So what is love? We can go right into our next. Thank you for that segue. That was immaculate. We can go right into our next segment. Is the definition of love. You wanna, read, according to what the Bible says.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So this is, a lot of people got this thing about what love is and love this and love that, but this is here fundamentally the definition of love. In the Bible, in the New Testament, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 7, it says, love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes things, hopes things, endures all things.
Let the congregation say amen.
And that is profound. That is really, really profound. And something I was speaking to Abby about that is like love, is also, it's like, it's an action, So when it's saying that love is patient and love is kind, like for example, like let's say there's something about you I truly don't like. But because I love you, I'm understanding and I'm patient and I work with you, and I don't just take it out on you, but instead I am kind to you, and I approach it to help you and try to make you better. You know what I'm saying? So it's that act of service and that. And like really it's sacrificial, because a lot of times we're so impatient, like we're so selfish with our, it's like we don't care about no one else but us. And
so
and that's and especially in these times, that's the way a lot of people are approaching relationships. Like, if she ain't about this and that, I'm out of here and this and that, like this wrong attitude towards it. Like they come with this immature attitude where like, oh, first thing we're like, whatever, and I really don't care. It's really sad, It really is. That's why a lot of people use.
Yeah, people are in it for themselves. It's like, I'ma love you, and love is cool and everything, but as long as I'm getting my end of the deal, as long as my end of, like, what I came into the relationship for is being fulfilled, then
my way or the highway.
Right. And Tony Gaskins, he talks about this. He says, lead with love. Lead in love. And what is leading in love when you're in a relationship means to go out of your way to please your partner, to support your partner, to think of their needs, and to work on doing things to help that make their lives easier, to show them that you're thinking about them. And he said, never get caught up in the reciprocation. Never get caught up in the, well, I did this and I'm waiting for her to do what she gonna do. What she, I helped her with this, but she ain't say, no, she didn't say thank you. She didn't do nothing for me. She didn't look out for me later. He says, do not do that. You lead with love and you leave it there. You lead with love and you continuously do that. And he said, watch what happens. That the other partner will be so in awe. They will be so amazed and feel so good about, wow, like, he really cares about me. Like, he thought of that and this and that. Like, and they're gonna want to do it too, because they're gonna feel bad about you, doing all these great things, and they're just like collecting it and not giving it back. So he said it creates a new atmosphere in the relationship, because it's like no matter what, each person is kind of one-upping the person.
Right.
Like, oh, he did this for me. Like, oh my gosh, like that was so thoughtful. Like, I gotta do something. And it's not really about the pressure of now you really have to do something, but it just makes you feel like you want to do something.
Absolutely.
And it puts it on your mind, because you know that it's on your partner's mind how thoughtful they've been in helping you. So you can't help but to be thinking about them in return.
Yeah. It's, man, we could go on and on about love this and love that. And there's so many ways we can describe love, right? But it all leads to what love really is. It's like love is sacrificial, Yeah. If you look at it, the biggest display of love, the perfect display of love, is sacrifice, is Christ on the cross.
Absolutely.
He sacrifices everything he had up in heaven to become flesh and literally go through hell for us. He has to save his own creation, and that goes further and beyond our understanding of love and sacrifice, of who he truly is, So he is the epicenter, he is what we revolve around, saying he is the center of love, and he is a perfect example of what to live in love, and learn how to love people, learn how to love your neighbor, saying your neighbor, someone, doesn't mean literally your next door neighbor, but anyone you see out in the road, in the streets, the people that we're so judgmental of. Oh, this person must be this or blah, blah. Like, we don't even know them just because of the way they talk, or somehow like the way they look at something. We're so prejudgmental. Yeah. And but with love, we know not to look at those things. So look at them as a fallible human being who needs help, like everyone does. And it's also looking for love. So yeah, we could go all day on with that, but I'm gonna let Abby here go on to the next segment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I do want to touch upon a few other things, like the 5 love languages.
Oh, absolutely, yes. There's a book called The 5 Love Languages, and the 5 love languages simply are, receiving gifts, quality time, words of affirmation, acts of service, and physical touch. My favorite 2, I would say, or my favorite 3. Let's see. My favorite ones is words of affirmation.
You're supposed to pick 2.
I thought I picked 3. You picked 2 last time. I thought that's.
Nah, we agreed that we're only supposed to pick 2, but let me do 3. Let me do 3.
So,
but go ahead.
Quality time.
Okay.
And words of affirmation, I guess.
Those are your top 2 if you had to rank it. Okay, let's rank it.
So quality time and physical touch.
Let's rank it 1 through 5, right?
Quality time and physical touch.
1 is the number 1 most important. 5 is like.
All right.
Go ahead and rank it 1 through 5.
Quality time.
Number 1. Okay.
Acts of service.
Okay.
Words of affirmation.
Okay.
Physical touch is 4th. And receiving gifts, 5.
Okay.
So quality time 1.
Make sure this pen is working. Okay.
Quality time 1. Acts of service 2. Words of affirmation 3.
Hey, hold on.
Physical touch 4. And receiving gifts.
Oh my gosh! Like, I'm still writing the second one. What was the third one?
The third one is words of affirmation.
Okay. I have to abbreviate this.
Yeah, and the 4th one is physical touch. Nigga, you say
physical. I'm almost there, no worries.
And 5 is receiving gifts. But I definitely You
don't want to hear my ranking?
Yeah, I do. I definitely like quality time. I believe it's important to spend time with each other.
No way. You got to be kidding me, dude.
I'm done with you, yeah.
Quality time, you? No, of course. Obviously.
Right. So,
Okay.
yes, we all do. Of
I'm
course.
Ranking this 1 through 5. For number 1, I would have to say physical touch is number 1. I'm a very touchy-feely person. I love hugs. I'm a hugger. I like touching people on the shoulder if I'm talking to them and we're laughing. It's like, oh, you know how you kind of lean on people like, oh my God.
Yeah, I'm the same
like
way.
that. And, in my relationships when I'm intimate with someone, I like to, be touching, like hugs, massages, just
right.
everything. I love touching your beard. I'm always grabbing at it.
Right.
So then that's number 1. Number 2, I would say number 2 would be quality time, definitely. Number 2 would be quality time. Number 3 would be words of affirmation. Number 4 would be acts of service, and number 5 would be receiving gifts.
Receiving gifts. Yeah, that's the one I least care about, receiving gifts.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way.
I'm like, it's always nice to receive something, don't get me wrong, but it's
right.
like that, it's fine. Like,
yeah, I don't know, like, I'm more about the non-tangible things,
right.
like being able to have a good conversation, being able to spend time together,
yeah.
laugh, watch something together, have a passionate debate. Like, those are the things I'm more into. Like, I feel like sometimes people, men in particular, they use gifts as a way to kind of make up for something that they did in the past, like when they mess up or something. And I feel like sometimes it's just like disingenuous or ingenuine, like, oh, that was super easy, you could have got that for anybody.
Right, I agree.
So it's like, kind of like, it depends though, because gifts are nice. Even though it's ranked number 5 for me, I do like gifts, but it's not like I'm checking for it, I'm waiting for it, like, where's my gift, like,
right.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I'm not gonna ask for it,
I feel the same, yeah.
So, and then Tony Gaskins, so that's the 5 love languages, 4 levels of love. So there's also 4 levels of love. There's like, love, lust, and self-love. So, what do you think about the 4 levels of love? Like, what would you say?
I would say they go hand in hand with love, 4 levels of love are lust, like, love, and self-love.
Is there anything stand out to you about do you want to speak on any of those words? Like,
well, I would say, self-love is definitely the most important one, because you gotta, like you were saying earlier, you gotta love yourself first,
Yes.
Gotta love yourself before you put yourself out there and whatnot. You gotta love yourself. You gotta make yourself work with everything that you are, how broken you are, all these situations, everything that's wrong about you. You gotta learn how to love yourself first and really build yourself. You know what I'm saying? Before you try to go into loving someone else who's just as broken and God knows, like, probably even worse. And you haven't even established your own house. You trying to help someone, like, I'm like, bro, like, work on you, and
Yes.
So that's definitely very, very important. Self-love, and so, and then you could enter into really establishing, and building a love fortress, around the two of you,
Right. A love fortress.
Yeah. So.
Sound like some Fortnite stuff. Anyways, so I do want to touch upon lust, because I feel like that's such a controversial word, and it's like the opposite of love, like,
yeah,
a lot of times we may confuse lust with love.
Right.
And it's very important not to do that.
Right.
Because when you are lusting after someone, you find yourself, doing things that you wouldn't usually do. Maybe because you're excited. It's a racy type of feel.
Right.
You feel like, oh my gosh, I really shouldn't be liking this person for whatever reason, but he's so fine, or he's so this, or he's so that, or he's a bad boy, or whatever. Like, and it's like that little, that little kryptonite that you have. But lust can get you in trouble, like if you allow it to overtake your emotions. Like, you have to keep lust in check. Absolutely. You control lust. Don't let lust control you, because you may find yourself in a lot of situations that's like, damn, like that person wasn't even worth it. Like, I can't believe, like I had sex with him or whatever. Like, he ain't shit. Like, oh my gosh, like I'm bugging. Like, why did I even waste my time with this nigga? Like, so lust will have you doing that based on the physical characteristics, because he's built, his arms are built, or like, oh, she got a fat ass or whatever. So like, I'm gonna like try my best to like go after this girl, and she may be like the worst fit for you. You know what I mean? But that lust, you see what I'm saying? Like, that lust just reels you in, just snatches you. Just like
that's
that.
That's not love, It's
Nope, you gotta know the difference.
It's definitely not love, and I think sometimes people, they let lust, literally lead them, that desire of the flesh and this and that. Oh, and speaking about that, this might sound a little thing, but this is something I forgot to mention to you. The idea of love. Another reason why sometimes people go into relationships as well is like, oh, they like the idea of like going out to the movies, having picnics, being with the family, getting to know why, stuff like that. Like, nah, man, that's not,
hands,
that's corny stuff. Like, you gotta get past, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you can't.
Selfies for the gram.
Yeah, like that's not gonna, like, if you thinking about that, oh man, it's so cute.
Like, I just envision myself like traveling with Bae, like on the beach.
It's nice, don't get me wrong, it's nice, but that's not love,
Yeah.
The idea of like,
that's a setup.
That is big time. So it's like, understand that, you're thinking about the pretty stuff, but in reality, the big picture of love is, like I said, it's sacrificial and it hurts. Like Jada Smith was talking about, love in reality is devastation. She says. She says that you're literally signing up to be with someone, and neither of you know, like, when y'all say till death do us apart, who's gonna be first? You guys love each other so much that you want to stick it out with each other. But in reality, that in the long run, the end game, it's like, one of us is leaving first, and so it's very, very profound. We're thinking, oh, Mary, we did it. Like, oh no, it wasn't saying I do take you as my wife, or I do take you. Like, no, it's like, prepare yourself for the next step. Prepare yourself for that. God knows, 40, 70, 80 years from now. For whoever departs first. And there's been cases where the couples have parted shortly after one has left. After one, and that's very remarkable. Like, that's so mysterious. Like, it's so, like, only God knows how that happens. It's something so spiritual. So it's like, when someone is really linked together, being throughout all those time, all those years, knowing, like, they really know each other. The Bible says when you become one, you'll know each other. Like, you'll really know each other. You know everything. Like, what she like, what she don't like, what he don't like, what he do, whatever it is. If he got a pimple on his nutsack, like, but that's to that extreme.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the reality of it. Knowing that person to full. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To the wholeness of that person. Know when they're lying, when they're being fake, how honest they are with each other, and just. And it's very important to have that in a relationship. So, that's really the picture. And at the end of the day, again, one of us is leaving this earth first, and that's what we gotta be prepared for. To be ready to face that moment.
Yes. Damn. Yeah, that's it's crazy. That is crazy. But I'm just looking at First Corinthians again, as I just love this verse so much. You know what I
It's
mean?
powerful.
Like, love is patient and kind, and you know, love doesn't not envy or boast.
Yeah.
It's not arrogant.
I
Or
love when it
rude.
says it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's okay.
No, I love when it says it's like it's not arrogant or rude. You know, like the times when we
Yeah.
argue, babe. Cause right, we argue. Everyone like
Yeah.
don't think about it. Don't. Oh, we almost forgot that about the social media stuff.
Yeah. Well, I didn't put that on there. Sorry.
Oh no, I thought you did. But anyways, like a lot of times, like in social media, like that's something a lot of people think they put these pictures up and they think their relationship is perfect. Like
Relationship goals.
we've actually spoken about this. You know, like what
Yeah.
we think. Like we're cautious about how many pictures we put up. You know, we don't want to. You know what I'm saying? But we're just really cautious with social media. But
Yeah,
when we post it
definitely.
up, we're not
Gotta be
posting
careful.
it like we're perfect, like we're ignoring everything that happens in our
Right.
relationship. No, man, we have our disagreements,
Absolutely.
you know, and don't get me wrong, it's not an enjoyable at the moment,
Experience.
you know, it's not, but in
Yeah.
the long run, it has built us up, and like we're literally just sitting here doing this, and it's you know, we feel our intimacy, you know, and our friendliness with each other, you know what I'm saying? And learning to understand each other, which is what she was going into communication, you know, about listening to understand versus listening to hear or listening to just respond, you know, like, you know, people tell you something, like when we're in an argument, like instead of listening to try to understand what you're telling me, I'm like whatever, I'm listening whatever, but I'm not listening to understand. I'm listening to just be petty and give you a quick response, like whatever, I don't care what you have to say, like, you know, we just listen to respond back, you know, without having to. So that's something that we always talk about and something we're working on, you know. And
Yes.
and I think every relationship has these struggles and these moments where it's really it's like almost solving puzzles and like figuring things out to come to a common ground to see what we could work best to you know, make it last. So
Yes, absolutely. And to just try to come to a deeper understanding, you
Right.
know, with each other. Like, you have to learn how to not listen when you're listening to someone in a conversation, like, you know, your man or your girlfriend or whatever. You have to learn how to listen for what they're saying and make sense of it instead of just trying to listen to the last word they say. Like, oh, they finished talking? It got
Right,
quiet again?
right.
Oh,
right.
bet. I'm about to
Right,
go in.
right.
I'm about to wipe this dude right now. I'm about to clean his ass. Like,
Right.
I'm
And we
about
can
to
be
go
petty.
ham. Like, I don't give a fuck
And we
what he
can
just
petty.
said. He was just talking for 3 minutes. I don't know what the fuck he said, but I'm ready to go. Like, I'm good. I'm ready. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely, yeah.
instead of having that energy where it's like, I'm so heated at this person and I just want to rip him to shreds. I want to tell him off. I want to treat his life. I want to go clean in. I want to spill all the tea. Instead of having all of that energy, because that literally solves absolutely nothing. Like, it solves nothing, guys. It only makes the mess messier, let me tell you.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
instead of doing that, really just try to breathe.
Yeah.
I think that's the first step I'm going to give. Because that's what I want to start working on too. Is just breathe.
Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, let's do it with me, everyone.
Oh,
Like,
man.
doesn't that make you feel better?
Absolutely,
So first
yeah.
of all, breathe.
Yeah.
You know. Second of all, take a step back. Take a pause before you jump and say anything, anyhow, anyway. Just take a pause. Like, okay,
Yeah.
what am I about to say? Like, let me just run it through my head real quick. Let me make sure, like, this doesn't sound totally crazy. And listen, like,
Yeah.
listen like
To
you're in a
understand.
class and you need to know this information to refer when you take the test.
Right.
Like, the information that you
That's
should listen.
deep.
You should listen
That's
to
true.
your man or your woman. Like, you need that information that they're saying out of their mouth. Like, you're going to use that information on a test, or you're going to fail. Or you're going to do an interview, and they're going to ask, oh, so can you tell us about, oh my God, man, my man was just talking about that. Damn, what was he saying?
That's
like,
true.
That's how you should listen. And if you think about it like that, I feel like it will make it easier to stay committed and disciplined enough to really listen to what that person is saying.
Yeah.
You know, and that's when I just came up with that right now.
No, that's very. No, I'm listening to you. And it's true. It's like because that argument prepares you, like it's preparing you. You know, it's like you guys, like I said, it's like it goes literally with what you just said. You know, it's like solving that puzzle, getting ready for the next test. You know, and like listening to the information he's saying, whatnot. You just try to understand whether, you know, so yeah, so communication in that area is very important.
Absolutely.
Very, very important.
It's so important. I mean, communication is the most important thing. Like, I just think communication is the most important thing in a lot of things, but especially relationships.
Right.
I can't stress enough
Yeah.
how important communication is. And we've seen firsthand, like, when we don't communicate enough, or when we don't communicate effectively, you know, how it can make things more challenging, or more misleading, or more just higher energy. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I feel like communication, like, you know, listening to really understand what the person is saying, not just listening to hear, like, you hear the voice, you hear the
Right.
like the vibrations are happening in your ear, and you know that person is talking to you, but you're literally zoned out.
Right.
You don't want to check out when the person is talking.
Yeah.
You don't want to, and it's
This
a
will
chore.
this will save your relationship. Honestly, putting that into practice, you know, saves your relationship. Like, let your ego die. That's something I always tell myself. Let your ego die. Like, whatever, man. You know, it's an uncomfortable moment, an uncomfortable experience, but let it die. Swallow your pride, and, you know, get through it. You know, and that's another thing. It's the ego sometimes. You know, we just want to have like the last word, or I'm right, you're wrong, and this and that. And it's tough. So letting the ego die, and, you know, it's part of love, you know, because it's now you understand that when you're in this relationship, it's no longer you now, it's someone else. Yeah. So that part of you that like, oh, it's me, or it's my way, or the highway, like, no, let your ego die and work. It takes two to tango, you know. So
yeah, for sure. You know, and tone and volume when you are verbally communicating. I just did this in here because I feel like it's a small detail, a minor detail, but it's so paramount, because when the voices start rising, the conversation starts very normal, like any conversation of any day of the week, and then before you know it, you're literally like screaming at each other, like going head to head, and you're like thinking, where did this just come from? Like, how did this happen?
Right.
And a lot of it has to do with tone and volume, you know? So try your best to, like I said, breathe. I think breathing will help with a lot of this, because when you take a pause, when you take a deep breath, you're able to calm yourself down, calm your nerves down, and also kind of control your voice from, like, you know what I mean, jumping or just getting louder or boisterous. So you can just try to breathe it out and control your voice, because that does cause extra agitation. You know, when the other person is like feeling like, who does he think he's talking to? Why is his voice getting like this? Or he kind of coming off a little strong right now. Like, so now the person is thinking about how you're talking to them and not what you're saying to them.
Right. I agree. That's very true. That's something, you know. That's something. Sometimes we do it unconsciously, and we gotta train our mind. Listen, like, keep it cool, you know, and, you know, the soft answer is gonna lower. It's gonna make this moment, you know, go way by smooth, much more smoother, easier. You know, No yelling. Like, try to communicate. And try to talk to each other. The yelling is only gonna make it worse. So, and another something real quick, I just wanted to add this in, like how text can get taken out of context. Like, whenever, this is a good advice I got told once. Like, whenever you have something important to talk to your significant other, whatever topic it may be, especially if it's a touchy topic, whatever it may be in your situation, texting is not. Don't even bring it up. Don't even bring up the topic. Don't even touch it through text. It's like, wait till you're in person so you could talk with each other. You'll be able to see that person, their facial expressions, their body language. You'll be able to understand better what's, because a text gets easily taken out of context. They might be saying something just, really mellow, and you're reading it like she yelling over here, and I'm like, what? No. So really,
or they're being short, or they're being sarcastic,
right? Exactly.
Or they're being withdrawn, like they feel distant. I feel like they're distancing themselves from me. This is all through a text message. You can feel so many things, so many emotions, so many attitudes, so many energies, so many personalities. Like, you can feel so many things from reading one message. It can literally have 3 different vibes to it. So, like you said, I agree. When you are talking about sensitive topics, I think waiting to talk in person, or at least being like, oh, I wanted to talk to you about something, but we'll talk in person, about it or whatever. Like, oh, like let's just even if someone starts the conversation through text, and if you feel like, ooh, this ain't gonna make it. This ain't gonna go too well. You can even interject that in, like, hey, I think we should wait till we can talk about it in person. And the other person like, okay, cool. We'll definitely talk about it later tonight. I want to talk to you about that in person for sure. Because it's important. So whoever does the homework, whoever does the due diligence to make sure you're having the appropriate conversations using the appropriate mediums. And text is tough. I mean, text can get real confusing, especially when you're talking about something, like you said, touchy, sensitive, awkward, something that's very personal, something that's very emotional, like all of those things. Like, through text, it can really just go any which way. Even when you try to be careful about it. You try to approach it delicately, it can still go left.
You know what I've tried to do when it comes to that? Like, I've set my mind to read our text messages, like not be judgmental about it, because I'm reading it, like, I'm just reading it. That's it. I'm not putting no attitude, nothing behind it. I'm like, sometimes, because of certain things they said, it sounds like, okay, now I guess she feels some type of way, but the attitude itself, the tone is coming out. I read it at a very nonchalant, if that's even the word, very mellow, text. So I'm like, just so I don't have to overthink, what did she mean, or what was this and that. So yeah, I think that's a good idea. Don't be so quick. Oh, okay. Oh, so now it's a fight. but yeah,
And speaking of fights, in your relationship, you want to aim to have more disagreements and less arguments, because the difference between the two is, you're talking about something heavy. You're butting heads. You don't necessarily agree, but the argument part of it is what you don't want. It's the screaming, it's the slamming the doors, it's the rolling the eyes, it's the when it turns physical in whatever way, shape, or form. It's the when you start to now call the person out of their name. Now you're shifting from, talking about the topic to now talking about them personally. Bitch, that's why you ain't shit, nigga. That's why your broke ass gotta be working 3 jobs and you still can't help me with nothing. I don't even know why I'm with, you know what I mean? And then it's like, but we were talking about picking picking the kids up from school. Like, how did it get from that to I ain't shit, And that's part of how arguments can ensue. So when you are having conversation that's not happy-go-lucky, that's not, oh, we're just in sync, and oh my gosh, we just think that we just yin and yang, we just just finish each other's sentences. It's just so cute. And, there's gonna be times where it's like, no, like what you're saying is stupid. Like, I don't agree. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, who are you? Like, there's gonna be times where you have those conversations, but you have to then use tact.
Right.
And respect and pause and calmness, kind of use like your intuition or whatnot to navigate that conversation, so it just stays as a debate. It stays as a disagreement.
Yeah.
I agree to disagree with you. I respect you. I don't agree with you. Like, whatever it's gonna be, but it doesn't have to go to the other side, the dark side, which is arguments. And when you have so many arguments, it really can take a toll on you, and it can put a strain on the relationship. So you really want to minimize that.
Amen. Yeah, I know.
So
it's very true. So, but yeah, I think for those of you who've actually been stuck with us listening, this is a Valentine's Day edition. Like, people thought we were just gonna talk about Valentine's Days and couples and stuff like that, but it was more about Valentine's Day is more about couples who are in love and stuff like that. So our approach to this wanted to be more about talking about what love is and try to help with love, not necessarily what people do on Valentine's Day. So for those of you, that's not what we wanted to put out.
Yeah, I think they got that within the first few minutes. With the Listen Up podcast, I always try to fuse a few different things, right? Like, I'm trying to fuse entertainment with a little bit of education, with strong opinions,
right, and
stances on things. And also good conversation, raw, honest conversation. So that's what the Listen Up podcast is all about, But whenever you're listening, I do want you to feel like you learned a thing or two.
Absolutely.
I do want you to feel like, wow, I just got a new perspective on something. I never thought about it what? Wow, that's crazy. That's deep. That makes sense. I do want people to walk away and feel like, oh my God, I was laughing my ass off. She is something else, but she was saying some real shit though, or her guest was really smart. He was dope, or she was so friendly. So I felt like that was me. You know what I mean? So, so I like that. I like, talking about love in a sense where it is educational, because I feel like there's a lot to love.
There is. We can go on and on and on and on.
So many things. But,
look, think about it. It's like the Bible says that God is love, and God is indescribable. We could go on and on and on about talking about what God is, and we will never get to that core until the day we see Him face to face. But as right now, and that's why, we're literally, love is just an ocean. It's an ocean of mysteries. It's that's why when you go through certain relationships, you learn some stuff about other people, and it's hold up, wait, it took, love, searching for love took you through that, that path where you had these relationships that didn't work out, but you learned from those relationships, what I'm saying, and it prepared you to understand love in a much more deeper sense. And so true. It's profound, man. Love is beautiful. There's a love between you and your between you and your significant other. Then there's a love between your mommy and daddy and your family, your brother and sister. And then there's a love, between your friends, or those strangers on the road, where it's very profound, man. It is very, very profound. And it's literally it is the strongest force in the universe. In the universe.
There's no power greater.
There is.
There really isn't. And I want to close this out with some quotes from Tony Gaskins. Make sure y'all go look him up on Instagram, on YouTube, Facebook. He's really dope. He does counseling, therapy with couples, and he's just, I think he does some pastoral work, I believe. He's preached here and there, but he's a motivational speaker. But yeah, some things that he said is that let a person's character be their currency. So not how many zeros they got in the bank account, how many credit cards they got, how high their credit score is. what kind of dates are they taking you on? What restaurants are they taking you to, and how much they're spending on the bill? What kind of car they're driving? But not any of that. But their character.
Right.
Who are they on the inside? Where do they stand morally? Where do they stand in the eyes of God? How do they view God? Who is God to them? Do they even know God? First of all, and how do they handle themselves? How do they carry themselves? How do they treat other people? Are they close with their family? Do they respect you? I mean, as women, we must demand more respect. We must continue to demand and teach what we deserve, what we're looking for, because a lot of times people do not understand it, or they think they know what they're doing and they don't know what they're doing. So women, we do ourselves a disservice if we don't show what we're looking for, and if we don't stick with what our not our preferences, but our standards. If we don't stick to our standards, those things that you cannot go without, it's just a hell no, can't do it. Those are the things I'm talking about. We have to stick to those core standards, and not take anything less. So yeah, I mean, so that's the character part of it.
Yeah.
And then what's the next quote that
he says, when you start looking at your standards instead of your preferences, that's when you find real love. Yeah.
And I think it's true.
Yeah. You the things you, like you were talking about earlier, the things that matter to you, like not what he has or what she got, whatever, how they look, but who are they in the inside, and so yeah, it's focused on that, the character.
Yeah, it's important to be happy while single before getting into a relationship. Yeah. Not happy while being single means you will be desperate for love.
Absolutely.
And that you do not want. Absolutely. Because that is definitely doing yourself a disservice when you become desperate for love, when you become, this needs to work, this needs to happen, and it needs to happen now. Like, it has to happen.
You gotta take a breather.
You have to let go and let God. You have to allow God to come into your life, to come into your heart. He has to put things together, and his timing, we can never explain, predict, guess, make sense of. A lot of times his timing is just, it's a phenomenon in its own is his timing. But we have to trust it. You have to trust it.
Amen. So yeah.
Those are some quotes to leave you with, but just final words.
It's funny. This was only supposed to be an hour, and it's nearly an hour and 30 minutes now. I knew it wasn't gonna be an hour because there's so much to talk about this. Like, I still got stuff to say, and I'm gonna stay quiet because if not, we're gonna keep going.
Oh my gosh, I know. I said an hour just to estimate it, but I knew it was gonna go over an hour.
Yeah.
I hope y'all stay with us. We try to say some ish for you guys, but but final words, like, I would just say, don't give up on love. If you're single right now, if you are dating and it's just like, because girl, I've been there, trust me, for a long time. If you're dating and you just feel like you're wasting your time, you feel like the options are lacking heavily, you're not crazy, okay? You're not losing your mind. That is what it is. But you have to make sure that you are sticking with your standards and you're not sticking with your preferences. One, so you need to really reevaluate what you are thinking about, what you are looking for, what you are talking to God about, and you need to see how can you fine tune that list. How can you make some edits to it? How can you bring it, simplify it a little bit? And now I'm not saying to now start to settle, to now start to take off things that you love or whatever, and you're just gonna take whatever you can get. Absolutely not. I'm saying you still are going for what you want, but how can we shave this list down from this immaculate 300, 300 numbered list? How can we get it down to a solid 10, 12, 15? 10 would be nice. Even if you can do less than 10. How can you do that? Because you're going to find that more things, more opportunities come your way. Be open-minded.
Yeah.
Be open-minded, and don't give up. Don't give up, no matter what. Continue to work on yourself in the process. Working on yourself is a lifelong process. You should never be done working on yourself, trying to get better, continuing to love yourself. That is a daily action.
Absolutely.
That you should practice regularly, because you should continue to feed yourself with self-love, with that confidence, with that just knowing yourself and knowing what you're about and what you bring to the table, because you never know when that knight in shining armor is gonna see you, and you're gonna be just like a bright light to him.
Yeah.
You just never know. So you always want to be ready. You always want to be prepared for what may come your way.
Yeah.
Stay true to yourself.
Yes. Yes. So happy Valentine's Day to all you guys. Be safe out there.
Day.
Don't get too lit. You feel me? You guys, take care of your woman. Girls, take care of your man. I'm almost falling asleep because we recording this at 10 o'clock at night, nigga. I'm sleepy.
Oh my God! Now he's starting to talk like delirious.
Are you patting my head for, huh?
Because I like putting your hair forward. I think it looks cute like this.
Yo, so yeah. Thank you for sticking through.
Thank you. Please, subscribe to the Listen Up podcast.
Follow me on Instagram, psilocybin22nd.
Follow Yeibi at psilocybin 20 seconds on Instagram. Subscribe to the podcast. Follow, like, share. All that good stuff is on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play Music, Stitcher, TuneIn, like anywhere you can find podcasts. Anywhere you can get your hands on it, you will find this podcast. Just search Listen Up with Lady Sola. This is episode 15. And,
Roll out.
Thank you. Time for our nightcap. Psych!
Kiss me out too.
Thanks for checking out this episode of the Listen Up podcast. If you like what you heard, make sure to subscribe on iTunes and share with your friends. If you're really rocking with it, leave a rating or review on the Apple Podcast app. The support is always appreciated.